Hi guys, so my name is Hans and I'm just quickly making this video to address some of the concerns that some of you have brought forth to my attention. So I want to just talk about, I just want to quickly talk about studying in South Africa if you're in Cameroon. If you're a Cameroonian that wants to study in South Africa, then let me just give you this few hints. The first thing to know about studying in South Africa is that it is very affordable compared to schools in North America and in Europe. Schools in North America and Europe would range between 10 to 15 million annually, if you're paying your fees, that is. But if you're coming to study in South Africa and you're paying your fees, you would be expected to pay roughly between 1 million to 1.5 million, which is fairly affordable compared to the North American and European schools. So that is the first thing to note, that it's quite affordable and it's also very world-class. Like universities in South Africa are very known for their research. Like you have universities like the University of Cape Town and the University of the Witwatersrand, which are often like the top universities in Africa. Sometimes this year it would be the University of Cape Town and the next year it would be the University of the Witwatersrand. So the universities, they always keep fluctuating, exchanging positions between the first and the second. So they are very good universities and they are compared to standards that universities like those in America and in Europe also have. So you also have a lot of students coming from those countries to study here. There's a lot of students from China, a lot of students from France and the UK studying here in South Africa because it's very affordable compared to their countries. But the standard of education, the facilities that you have here, the libraries, the research, is the same standard like those in their own universities. So South Africa, of course, like you know, is one of the largest economies here in Africa and one of the best in terms of education, in terms of healthcare delivery and a lot of other things. So if you're studying in South Africa, it's really not different from studying in Europe pretty much, because you're going to have access to some of those best facilities which you will not have elsewhere in other African countries, seriously. So that was one of the first decisions that influenced my one of the first reasons that influenced my decision to study here in South Africa. Also, I think a lot of people have been asking me, like, what does it take to get the visa? To get the visa is not really complicated. Well, unless when you go and they start really being difficult unnecessarily. But if you want to get your visa on time, my advice would be to start between 6 to 7 months before your classes are supposed to begin. This is to avoid a lot of unnecessary delays, because when you go, they are going to ask for a lot of paperwork. You need to maybe consult with your school back and forth. You need to bring a lot of documents and things like that. So, but basically what you need, if you're studying on a scholarship, you need to bring your scholarship letter. You need to bring an admission letter from the school. You need to provide your certified copies of all your academic documents, your O-levels, your A-levels, your transcripts, and you also need to bring a proof of your medical certificate. You need to do a medical certificate, which they will give you the form from the High Commission, the South African High Commission in Yaoundé. They can provide you with that. Then they will also give you, you need to bring a yellow fever vaccination card, which it can be done at any government hospital. You also need to bring an X-ray scan of your X-ray or chest, something like that. And then you need to provide 32,000 francs at the embassy and you submit there. So if there's any other thing else, the ladies, the people that work at the embassy are going to point it out to you. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And the admission letter from your university, I don't know if I mentioned that. And yeah, that's pretty much that. The flight is not expensive. Flights, depending on what airline you're taking, you can just budget between 250 to 300,000. But sometimes you might be lucky and you might have to only pay 200,000. So it really just depends on the time you're flying and the airline you're flying with and things like that. But just have that rough estimate in your mind that it could be from 200 to about 300,000 for the flight. And then your housing also, it could also range between, depending on whether you're paying for the whole year, and normally as a foreign student they would expect that you should pay your house for the entire year before they can let you stay. So you would need to also, because you also need to bring proof of accommodation when you're going to submit your documents at the embassy. So the embassy needs to see proof that you have paid for your accommodation, that you have a place where you have a place where you're going to stay when you get to South Africa. So you need to bring that along with you. So if you have somebody in South Africa, it's best to talk with the person to help you get an accommodation, so that you don't, because there's a lot of scammers out there as well. You could end up, paying for a house which you've not been to, and then it turns out that the house does not even exist, or that you know you've paid and for some reason they've given it out to someone else and you can't have your money back, things like that. So it's just good to get someone here who can help you get accommodation, or you speak with your university and let them reserve accommodation for you. That way it's best. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And if you're coming to study here, just know that it's also a very cold place. If you're coming from West Africa like us, it's so much colder in South Africa. Towns like Cape Town and Johannesburg are extremely cold. So you need to buy thick clothing. And when I mean thick, I don't mean you buy your kind of sweaters you have in Cameroon. You come here, it's just gonna be like you're not putting on any clothes. So buy very thick clothing, or better still, you can get to South Africa and you buy your clothes here. Although it's gonna be a bit expensive, but it's gonna be warmer. So you don't want to be buying something cheaper which is not going to keep you warm, and then you end up getting sick because of the extreme cold. So just know that it's also very extremely cold, and that you are not going to be finding a lot of our Cameroonian food here, because you know South Africans, they tend to buy a lot of their food from shops and things like that. So if you want to eat natural food, it's best to budget and bring your own food as well. But just know that normally flights would only allow you to carry about 23 kilograms, and that would include your clothes and a lot of things. So you need to be able to know what is most important for you, and then you carry your stuff accordingly. But if I would suggest that you bring enough food with you, and maybe dry spices and dried meat as well, so that it can sustain you. Because things like corn flour you can get here, although it's not our kind of very authentic corn flour, it has been processed industrially, but it can still get you through. So yeah, that's basically what you need to know about studying in South Africa. And you also need to know that it's sometimes not very safe. So if you're coming to study here, just know that you're not going to be keeping late nights. By 6 to 7 o'clock you're supposed to be indoors, because it's a very dangerous place. Sometimes they shoot people, they rob people in broad daylight and things like that. So you want to stay safe, and preferably if you're looking for a place to stay as close as possible to your campus. Personally, when I got here, I stayed just for about a month and I got robbed in broad daylight. They took my phone and nobody intervened. So I was just lucky, because sometimes if you're trying to resist when they're robbing you, they can stab you or they can shoot you. So if they're trying to rob you or take anything from you, just let them have it. Your life is not worth a phone or whatever. So just stay safe, and yeah, that's basically it. So I'll be producing another video in which I would explain or answer more questions that you guys have. I just hope that I did justice to this. If you feel that I've not answered a few other questions, just drop your comment below and let me know what your question is, and then I'll address it in the next video. Stay blessed, guys, and stay strong.